I know you got questions. We got to find answers together. We're going to go through it from what we've seen. There is no easy fix. It's a little bit of everything. What you want to know, what we want to know, what we need to see is coming up tonight with Dan Harms. I'm Ryan. Welcome to RGR Football. Welcome back, everybody. Gotta love that we're here. Even if we don't want to talk about this ball game, we're going to do it. I've been hearing from people all day long about just trying to move on. Well, you don't learn anything if you don't move on. So we're going to answer your questions. We're going to talk about what we've seen so far. I haven't seen all 22 at all yet, so I don't have all the answers. But I'll tell you what I think, and I'll back it up later in the week when we do get that information. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of this channel. This is Dan Harms, the right hand. If you're into Game of Thrones, I'll just call him the hand from now on. We'll just go from that.
I love
Start
it,
to get into the new show. You know, it is what it is. And, you know, in the new Game of Thrones show, people get set on fire by dragons, and that's what's about to happen tonight. So put your questions into the queue. If you are new here, please. I am terrible in the chat because I have a narrow window. I need question marks at the beginning of your question to help me find them, and I will do my best to answer them. Super chats, you will get an answer no matter what. Everyone else, we will do our best to get to you. We get a lot of questions on nights like these, so let's have fun. Let's be respectful. If fans from other teams happen to show up here, we got a new power broker in town. His name is FLDB. He can lock them out. Thank you. We appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for taking up the reins. The Morrows will be back at some point in the future, but we appreciate you. And let's have some fun. So not going to go over my big thing. Like, this is just, you got to figure it out, fix what's broke, and move forward. So let's get after it. Swag Boy was first one in that I saw. Teams focus on Kelsey. They let the other wide receivers beat them, and that makes our offense too predictable. Is the offense figured out? I don't think so. I think what it is they throw little bits of wrinkles and it ruins the Chiefs' preparations. And I'm not seeing adaptation to unexpected deals enough. Dan, do you see something else?
No. You guys, I apologize. I'm losing my voice here.
10-word answers tonight. That's it.
I don't think I can do that. But we've heard now that the offensive line was not ready for the stunts in the games that they played up front, which is a big problem. In preparation, you have to be ready for these kind of things that can be thrown your way, and the Chiefs were not, and it showed up in multiple ways. When I watched the L22, I'll see how the receivers were open, whether it was spacing, things like that, but Mahomes is holding on to the ball because he's trying to get it downfield, which tells me they had some looks that they wanted, and the offensive line wasn't giving him that time. So I don't think it's figured out. I think that they have to do a better job preparing the offensive line to be ready for anything that can come at them.
And I know some of you are saying, well, okay, it's stunts, it's tackle and twists, it's linebacker replacements. It is, but everybody has their own flavor about how they go about it. Every team aligns a little bit differently. Everybody's tell is a little bit different. So it isn't enough to just understand the concept and be prepared. You have to prepare for that team and the way that they run game up front. It is not one size fits all. So it sounds like it's a pain, because it is, that you got to prepare for each team individually. FLDB, of course, had a great question. When teams play an international game, are they required to be ready to host a game if there is an emergency need for a stadium? If it's in Minnesota, I'm going. Great. I don't know about the international games. I believe they're going to have obviously different stadiums in the local vicinity when it's international. Mexico City, there are few, to tell you the truth. If the stadium in Mexico City, which is notoriously terrible on its turf, has some kind of weather outing, I don't know if there's many places to go around there. Maybe it does go back up to San Diego, and there's a stadium there with moss growing on it that they could probably use. But we'll see what happens. This is going to be an interesting one. It sounds like from the weather projections that I saw, the Tampa's going to get hit with some weather, and then it should dissipate by the time it gets around to the weekend. So I'm not too concerned at this point. Did you hear anything else?
No, just kind of crossing our fingers and hoping that the rain kind of subsides by Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with you. St. Paul Chief, thank you very much for your Support here. Going back to the AFC title game, the offense has struggled in 3 of the last 4 games that have counted. Is this cause for worry, Daniel?
I don't think so. Like, you watch the game back, I think honestly the offensive line was the biggest problem, and that's a problem in and of itself. But I think that the scheme is sound. Again, if Mahomes hits MVS on that first touchdown, and and Travis Kelce catches the touchdown in the end zone, he's over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and no one says a peep. Okay, I think that we kind of have to remember that while it looked ugly in a lot of facets yesterday, the defense was really good. The offense had moments. Again, a Trey Smith holding penalty and a fingertip away from another touchdown to Justin Watson. Like,
right.
In retrospect, when you can think about the plays that could have happened, that maybe should have happened, the offense was a lot better than I think most people think it was. And at the end of the day, the special teams and the not having trust in the special teams is ultimately what cost them this football game, and some poor execution at times on offense.
No, that's the best way to put it. I was really happy with the defense, and thank you, Save Ball Chief, for your support.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm sure we'll get into the defense here coming up.
Yeah.
Look on the bright side, says Doug. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate a little positivity.
Me too.
Bills, Chargers, and Raiders all lost. Also, K-State beat Oklahoma, and that's always fun, isn't it? I am super with you, and thank you, Doug, for being a voice of light here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Micah, sup, dude? Why didn't Veach and Reed demand wide receiver Waddle in the trade? Because they wouldn't have got it, first and foremost.
No.
When a team's going to eat that kind of contract, they're not giving you up another asset. Getting draft picks alone. And here's the other thing, too. Like, and I said it when Waddle came out and when he got drafted, somebody's trying to get a close as they can facsimile of Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Jalen Waddle can do nearly everything, and now they got 2 of them.
Jalen Waddle is the closest thing to Tyreek Hill that you're ever going to see, in my personal opinion, at least in the near future. That's what he is. And they have 2 of them, like you said. Like, that's just some scary stuff.
It is. Like, let's hope. And I don't know that this is going to be – I don't know that they're going to be able to sustain this. I question that in this particular first season. We'll see what happens. If it comes to a mano, you're going to have to see Spags get creative too. It's not the only defense that's going to have to change. Tyler, why does CH stop behind the line of scrimmage on every handoff instead of hitting the hole hard and getting a couple of yards? Dan's going to tell you. I'm going to stay out of this one.
Because I've seen a lot, okay? There is a still shot of Clyde not hitting the hole and Patrick Mahomes showing him where to go. But there's a lot of context that's missing from this entire play. Big shock there. Using still frames is not the best way to show. The play itself is an outside zone from shotgun. I don't know how many times you guys have heard me talk about this. When you run an outside zone from shotgun, guess what? His shoulder pads are facing the sideline. So he can't just see a hole that's behind him on the left. He can't see that hole. Andrew Wiley got blown up. He can't get to the outside. On and everything else, there's an RPO on the backside of it. So you have pass blockers. So you have an entire offensive scheme that is not set up to actually run that play. So by the time Clyde gets back to where he could have gone, you have linebackers filling and guys getting downhill. And there's a lot of the biggest reason that he stops at the line of scrimmage, even when he's face up, is because he tries too hard to manipulate the linebackers. He's in his head a bit too much, and he's trying to do what he can to create a bigger hole for himself, but he needs to, year 3, I don't know if it's going to happen. He needs to start hitting the hole more often and just go. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself behind line of scrimmage getting 2-3 yards at a time. So that's my biggest gripe with him, is that he's too in his head. He's thinking too much when he plays. But that run was not because of him. It wasn't his fault.
There's very much a parallel here between this ball game and this offense. Andy even said it at a halftime. We didn't commit enough to the run. We need to establish the run. Well, when he does, he doesn't commit to actually running the ball. He commits to stretching out a play, trying to run zone and find a hole, but he doesn't actually go after the defense. There were a couple times they ran power, and they got some decent gains out of it. There's a couple times they ran power and got blown up too. Yep. But you have to go attack the defense with the run. It's not enough anymore just to run zone. I will tell you this too. You corrected me because I didn't see counter all day long, and I'm waiting to see the 22. But you got to run things like counter. You got to run some pitches. You got to do the things that help your guys attack the edges when they can't get yards inside.
They did such a bad job of setting Clyde up for success. The very first run was on the 1-yard line. That was his very first run. It was on the 1-yard line, backed up, and they knew they were going to run it. Like, it just every run that I watched that was Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they set him up for just awful opportunity. Now there is something to look at. He got 5 targets in this game.
Yeah.
And they're starting to involve him more in the passing game, which is good for him, good for his production. I think it's good for the passing game in and of itself. But if they want to actually establish a running game, set your guy up for success. It's not too much to ask to get him on some duo, on some counters, on some things that are going to make him successful. Otherwise, you're never going to get a run game. The Colts didn't respect the run game all day because there is no actual commitment to it. You could just throw a couple window dressings out there, a play action, no real run game to speak of because they don't want to do it. And that's a mentality. Chiefs don't have it.
Yeah. I'd run duo over Trey Smith 4 times. I don't care if I get 2 yards a pop. I just run it over and over until they come stop it. Because when they come stop it, you have more opportunities behind them. And that's what you train a defense to react to. There's a lot there. And I agree with you. I think I've counted for 3 different spots where they've run the arrow route from with Clyde.
Yeah.
If they continue to expand that, it's there all the time. It's the number one thing that we said when he was drafted.
Yep.
Mike, is it time for Veach to contact OBJ's agent and check on his progress? Now, if y'all remember from the summer when I told you about mid-October is when the Chiefs need to go get OBJ before he gets his recovery videos out there, because then everybody's going to come calling. Go get him now.
Yeah.
Start the process. I don't care who you have to cut or trade. Trade deadline's out there. You got time. You can do something. Maybe there's a tackle you want to move on from. I don't know. There's a lot of options out there. So I think that it's certainly worth doing. I'm half in the bag here telling you guys that, like, there are machinations that will have to happen in order to clear cap space. But as we all know, 177 is no obstacle. It can be done with this cap. Biggest concern on offense right now, Dan?
Right now, for me, it's the offensive line. And that's actually, it's really the tackles. Like, the tackles are a big problem. I think that the center guards are good. They're fine. They're a top 5-3 unit in the NFL. The tackles are a big problem, and they're getting beat. Obviously, there's a clip being shown of Orlando Brown tripping, which happens. He was trying to get out to a spot and tripped over Gray. So he's got some other issues to work through, but Andrew Wally hasn't been as good as he was last year, which is a problem. And it's causing Mahomes to have to move around. And when he's off of his spot and trying to play from a pocket, it's not him on the move making things happen. It's his mindset is, I want to play from the pocket. And when he's doing that and moved off a spot, you're going to see him holding on to the ball and then chucking it incomplete. It's a problem.
Yeah. I'm going to zoom Dan out here for a minute because I don't want him to take the wrath for this. The problem with the offense is a total lack of preparation for anything outside of what you want to do. They prepare for what they want to do. They didn't prepare to see cover 4. They thought, Gus is Gus. He's going to do what he is. If Todd Bowles hasn't taught you yet that even the most stubborn of defensive coordinators will change their spots, then you're not learning anymore. This was a lack of preparation on the entire team's part. And if it isn't going to come from the coaching staff, it's got to come from the stars. It's got to come from Kelsey and Mahomes saying, we need to be able to do this if they do this. There is no more time to be, oh, we know these guys so well, better than they know themselves. We're only going to prepare for what we know they're going to do. You have to be more agile in adapting. Dan didn't say that, I did. Is it time to stop talking about how prepared Danny is in the extra days? I haven't seen him born out for quite some time, including yesterday. Yes, I mean, I don't know if it's time to stop it because it is generally still a truth. But this one certainly, like, the mini bye ain't a thing, folks. It's not a bye week. I think that's what we've proven.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Do you think the Chiefs are underplaying the beef with EB and Mahomes? And do you think you could see Andy demote or let EB go? What do you think, Dan?
I want to let everybody know something, because I know that there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about who calls plays. And we've had a discussion not too long about that. Andy Reid is the end all be all. What he says goes. And I believe that they had a discussion as what they've said. They had a discussion about going for it, and in that end of the half, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Matt Nagy said, no, we're going to be conservative. And since EB is the one that's directly calling plays into the helmet, Mahomes hears EB's voice. Also, you're not going to see Patrick Mahomes pick a direct fight with the head coach. You won't see it. Okay? So somebody has to be the punching bag. EB is perfectly fine being that guy. Obviously, he didn't lose his cool. He was trying just to talk to Mahomes the whole time. He is totally fine being Andy Reid's punching bag, because you know what? He knows that he's the one making decisions. Everyone knows it. So I have no reason to believe that they are downplaying it on purpose, because I truly believe Andy Reid's the one responsible for it.
See, I have the same conclusion. I think they're downplaying it because it was Andy. I don't think it was consensus. I think it was Andy.
Either way, like it's Andy says it, you go with it.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way around it. And I'll give EB credit, because if you go back and you watch the clip, folks, he's like, no, like he didn't say Patrick, but he's like, no, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. like
chill the F out. We're gonna be all right. Nothing is effed here, people. Okay. I really came close. I shouldn't cuss on this stream. Kids, I'm not going to do it, I promise. But especially if my niece is watching, I will pay you the $10 if it's this.
I was about to say, I can't promise that I won't someday.
I get that it takes time to learn the offense, but at what point do the coaches need to just put together 10 to 12 plays to get Sky on the field more? They already have it. They just haven't implemented it yet. Unlike play design, I think they're holding player back for later in the season. You disagree? Or are you disgusted? Okay.
I hate it. I hate it. Look at that. This is a rookie renaissance where we're in right now. Rookie wide receivers are good. Yeah. They're just good. A lot of them come into the league knowing what to do. And Andy Reid is too old-fashioned to get out of his way and let Sky Moore play more. It's a problem.
Unless Sky's shown them something.
Yeah, that
tells them that he's not prepared. And in which case, you're still protecting him and sheltering him. And I get that to a certain extent. But at some point, you have to just let him go. Especially when you need the spark. And I talked about it last night on the breakdown. The short game, the quick game was there, and you need him for that. And that's what you need to have. You have to have some package of short game, quick game ready every week. Mm-hmm. Whether you get what you expect or not, you have to be that prepared. Well, I like your new avatar. Oh, you look like my buddy Casey Blair. That's hilarious. I know it wasn't really a fight, but am I wrong to be concerned that PM and EB haven't seemed to be on the same page since the championship game? No, a lot of folks are there, and again, like Dan was saying, like that's the focal point. There's a lot of Reed in there.
Yep.
Players who are not on the team next year. Left tackle OBJ. I'm glad that you said that. I almost read that as Lawrence Taylor. Old habits, folks. Sorry. Micah, you're probably right in both occasions, unless something gets turned around here pretty quick.
Yeah, I would imagine so, too. I think that Hardman's – right now he's hurt, and I don't understand playing him as much as they played him yesterday when it was very obvious that he was hurt. Just don't do it. There's no point.
I hear you.
Just that's the frustrating part too. But yeah, unless something changes with Orlando Brown, I don't think he's going to be a Chief next year. And now they'll be looking for 2 tackles. I'm
gonna put a caveat on that though. We've had a glimpse so far, not deep film work yet. There ain't a whole lot of elite talent at the tackle spot in this coming class, in my opinion.
No, you're not wrong. But
so I could see a situation where they're stuck, where they don't feel they can get a better draft prospect than Orlando. And there's probably not going to be a free agent that you feel is comparable. You could be stuck franchising again, and we all got to be prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm hoping if they see that coming, they work a deal out, because
this guy ain't coming free. I'll tell you that. Rashawn Slater went to IR, folks. Terrible, and Chargers will charge her. I swear it's in the water. Doesn't matter whether it's San Diego or LA.
Doesn't matter, man. They are just a bad injury place.
Yeah,
people go to get injured.
Don't go there. I'm just saying. How bad does it have to get for the wide receiver to have them make a trade at the deadline or sign OBJ? It's not even how bad. It's can they get it done? They have what? 1.6 in cap space right now?
Yeah.
Something like that. I think I saw that a week ago. So it's really the mechanics of it, because I think maybe MVS isn't working out the way that you guys want. I'm not sold that that's not going to come around, but there's also, because of the stunt game, because the O-line, I'm sorry, you were right, Dan, because the tackles were getting worked. It didn't allow you to really get Juju as involved as you should have. And I do feel like Juju's the next guy that I think can still crank it out. I feel good about where he's at now, and I think he's still got ceiling to go.
It's still a new wide receiver room. I think people really forget that because, Mahomes is Mahomes, but when you have offensive line issues and he can't trust you're going to be in the exact spot you need to be to just let it rip, he's going to hold it. Like, let's give it time. It's week 3. The receivers have some work to do still. So let's just relax.
Yeah. I'm RELAX.
Just trying, man. I'm just trying.
I feel like I'm taking peyote with Aaron Rodgers. Just everybody chill, bro. It's fine. I'm just going to date another actress. It's all going to be good. On 610, somebody lost $8,000 bet going for this. Oh my! On a real note, is it better that Chiefs be patient and wait and free? Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about a bad game. They've had these before and they've won championships. So, if this becomes a pattern, we have issues. Again, it was a day. I swear there's just days in the NFL where stuff goes wrong.
Everything that went wrong yesterday it did. Those
Chargers, Bills, they had same kind of day. You know what I mean? They were not alone. And good Lord, don't bet $8,000 on the Chiefs for do anything. I'm just saying. Why the Chiefs always overlook teams like this, and where they always have stinkers every year. Again, it's just I think it's lack of preparation or overconfidence in understanding what you're going to get, like we saw in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree.
Years ago,
I'm with you.
Micah, great pod. All in on Jackson Smith and Jigba. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's going to come out. He didn't play yesterday. I know they said he was healthy, but he didn't play.
Give me Marvin Harrison Jr.
He got to wait an extra year.
Don't care.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I will tell you. I'll tell you this. I'll double down on it. Take A.T. Perry right now, and let him do the Jody Fortson stuff, because for some reason they decided Jody ain't going to play either.
I don't have any answers for the questions, man. I don't know what's going on. They were not a very good 12 personnel group yesterday. They weren't, and I don't know what's going on.
And they were still predominantly 11 yesterday, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like right about 52% or something like that.
Yep.
Cold Ape, I'm a CEH supporter, but I think the only time we were consistently committed to running the ball is when we had Hunt. Is he available, and would you trade for him? No, he's not available. B, I don't think I would trade for him. If you could put it back together and they could mend the fences, I might consider it in free agency.
Yeah, not a trade, though.
What is he, in his 5th, 6th season now?
Yeah, he's 27, 28 now.
I can't give up draft capital. At 30, running backs are kaput. He's got 2 seasons left. You know, maybe an extra one because he's been splitting time with Chubb.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, and I don't even know if they were that committed then. I'd have to go back and look. If I remember correctly, I want to say they were about a 34% run call back then, which today looks like it's a screaming deal. I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think they'll be drafting a running back next year in early day 3. I think that would be the spot for them. Maybe if they see someone fall in the 3rd round, depending, because they'll have 2 third-round picks. So something like that.
At this point, I'm all for the full backfield. Burton Saunders up front with Clyde behind them, and just steamroll everyone.
Do it.
Make them stop. Makes them stop you from doing that. Which was worst, offense, defense, or special teams, or coaching? It's either special teams or coaching for me.
I'm gonna go special teams, because even as bad as the coaching was, the preparation, they should have won that game, and the special teams did not come through for them, regardless.
Folks, I see a lot of questions. I have no idea what Chris Jones actually said.
Yeah, no one's got a clue.
I will tell you this. It's very, very unlikely that it was any more outlandish than things that are said after every single dang play on every single dang game.
Every single play. He
just got overheard at the inopportune moment. Unless he was threatening to like end someone's life or something like that, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Would a trade for anyone be worth the Chiefs' time at the moment? I mean, what could really change things? Devontae's pissed. Think you can get him away from Mark Davis? No. But, I mean, beyond that, I mean, Tom Brady can't even keep guys healthy. Like, they're falling apart too. Like, this game's going to be guys on crutches.
You guys thought that our offense looked bad? Go watch that game. Go watch that game.
Yeah. I see people questioning, like, why are the Chiefs favored in this game?
There's real problems.
Yeah, go look at Tampa.
It's Tampa Bay.
And from a fantasy perspective, if you're not trading Tom Brady away yet, get going.
I mean, dude is Russell Wilson level of cooked almost.
It ain't going to get no better. Do you think the struggles on offense are partially due to the receivers not getting open? Also, how do you think Juju looks? I mean, I think this is a shift towards less separation needed. Patrick is throwing into tighter windows, and that's good because if they had these guys in who don't get as much separation and Patrick wasn't willing to throw to him, that would change the offense drastically. But he is giving them the opportunity. So I think Juju looks good. I won't say he looks all world, but I think he looks good.
We're going to see on the all 22, like I said, hopefully, I think I'll have it tonight to see how the receivers were, the spacing was off of Kelsey and things like that. Again, if we see more deep route combinations with the stunts going on, we're going to have some words, Andy. I'm going to have to call you up because this is some nonsense. 2 years in a row. Okay.
Help me help you. That's where I'm going.
Where was Mesh? You ran Mesh a bunch in the first. I don't care if it's against zone. Run it. Run it.
You might as well pull them out of it best you can, because if you run mesh, there's still a hole between that high safety and the corner.
There can be miscommunication problems with guys coming across your face.
Yes, stress the defense and see what happens. Do you think Nagy called the Colin Saunders fullback play? Absolutely.
Of course he did.
Absolutely. And I'm calling upon you, Matt Nagy, to put something else funky in there. I need it, and I need it now. Welcome, Mayor James. Glad you were able to join us. Nice to see you, buddy. He's not panicking. We don't have to panic. No, just complain quietly and be about our day. It's going to be fine. It's just me, or Orlando Brown, like he was beat on 80% of his plays. It does look like that. He's losing early in reps, at least from my eye. This is what's in my notes. I haven't watched the All-22. He's losing early in reps, but he's not actually giving up a ton of pressures. Like he's still able to recover most plays. I don't know. Do you see something different, Dan?
Mahomes is stepping up in the pocket. Otherwise, he'd be getting sacked and giving up pressures. Like, that's the big thing for me, is he's getting beat around the edge consistently. It's a problem. And if Mahomes doesn't step up and out of the way, he would be getting more pressures. So that's my disconnect with he's not giving up pressures. Well, he would, and Mahomes would be able to sit in the pocket a little bit longer instead of having to step up and then maybe throw some of your reads off.
Fair enough. At least Patrick's not doing the 18-step drop anymore. So because
he has perfected that. Figured that much out.
Rodir, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying it. What positions are the priority in next year's draft? Well, it's tackle, it's wide receiver. I would venture, honestly, it's got to be corner as well. 21 snaps is always seen from McDuffie, but I'm confident he's going to be that good. Mm-hmm. You got something in Jalen Watson. I still think you have something in Josh Williams. Just because Jalen jumped him in the depth chart, don't rule Josh out. He's got a longer transition to make. I think Fenton is not playing up to par. That's just the case.
He's not.
But I think you make a strength stronger at the cornerback position, because I think they're going to get thin after this next class.
Tackle, receiver.
Tackle. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I'm doubling down.
So are you saying trade out?
Depends. It's going to really depend on one. We don't even have enough information on this tackle class. I got no clue what's going on right now. Who's going to end up where? But they got some picks. Maybe trade up. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Jeff Lever, thank you for a rookie 7th rounder. How has Watson exceeded expectations already? He's getting a start.
He's starting.
And he's not getting destroyed. You're always going to have growing pains. This is the level of play I expected from a 4th rounder. So I'm really pleasantly surprised.
Honestly, he's worked himself into, in my opinion, the starting role in nickel, period, when McDuffie comes back. I think he's going to be the starter with McDuffie on the outside and Snead in the slot, because he's been that much better than Fenton has been.
And it isn't just not giving up huge plays. He gave up a few in Indy. That Pierce got him once. He stopped Pierce at least once as well. So it's give and take. That's a positive.
The 50-50 stuff's always going to be an issue in Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, Miles. Fenton's got the height disadvantage already. They're going to be able to pick on him. And quite frankly, when he's challenged, he generally loses his temper and grabs.
Yup.
He's got to train himself out of it. Great avatar. Love that one. Jacoby, I'd like to see the Power Jayhawks everywhere. I know the Bills lost, but it's frustrating to watch them move the ball with ease facing too high, and the Chiefs can't. Yes, and go back and draw out some of those plays and what those routes are. And again, it is about expectation. Chiefs were expecting the same old single high, closed middle, cover 3 from Gus, and they got the exact opposite. A lack of preparation to have at least a minimal package to address too high. Even if it is in a cover 4, you still have the same alleys. You basically, in a cover 4, you have 13 yards vertically that you have to cover side to side. That's how you cover the field. You still have to attack in the middle gap or in the corner between. Yeah. That's the areas aren't that difficult.
Seam balls.
Yeah.
Where were the seam balls? There was no seam routes.
I mean, I remember one to Kels. That's all I remember.
Well, yeah, that was when he had basically man coverage and he was an option to go inside or outside. Yep. And they tried that a couple times, but attack it. Just throw hitches at it, throw hitches at it, throw hitches at it, and come behind it with an out route. Like or a corner route. That's all you got to do.
it is, at least in the very beginning of feeling it out, it is formulaic.
Yeah.
There are certain things that you do to accomplish that. What's your thoughts on the Jones flag at the end? At what point do grown men get as long as fists aren't flying? I mean, that's the big question. Like, there's a clip of Josh Allen like punching somebody in the back of the head in the pile. Like, that's the kind of stuff that happens in a pile. Like, words in that situation are almost never penalized. So I honestly cannot imagine what it would have had to been to draw that penalty.
I don't know. It's kind of, honestly, I would be willing to bet someone said something worse to somebody else earlier in the game and a ref heard it and they didn't throw a flag. I'd be willing to bet that actually happened.
Yeah. Somebody was saying something about me and I was saying something about, I don't even know what that was, but Sean, you're gonna have to explain that one to me, buddy. I don't get it. If I did slip already and I didn't realize, apologies for all of you kids watching at home. St. Bell Chef, Chief, sorry. Chef, I did it again. Chef. I feel like too much blame is being put on Amendola. Obviously he had a bad game, but so did a lot of other Chiefs. Absolutely. The rope's very thin if you're a specialist in this league. And they did release him.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that they feel it was mechanical. They feel it was something he should have had under control. On the positive side, it also means that they feel that Bucker's going to be back because I don't think they want to put Justin Reed in that position.
I don't think so. I think they didn't give him a lot of confidence either. And for a guy who played well in his first game 2 weeks ago, they come in and then they say, we don't want you kicking a field goal from this distance. We're going to go for it on 4th and 10. Okay. And we're going to run a fake field goal. And for a guy who's auditioning.
You're so good.
Yeah. For a guy that's auditioning for a role, they basically told him, we don't think you can win this game for us. And then when he has to kick a 42-yard field goal, what does he have in his head? Oh, this team doesn't think I can do it. And guess what? He missed a field goal. The game is so much more mental than people realize, I think, and especially for a guy who's got a short leash coming in for relief of who's going to be a Hall of Fame kicker at the end of his career.
Yeah,
you got to give him confidence, and they didn't do that.
No, and again, the line is so thin as a specialist in this league. Like, you need that.
Mm-hmm.
It's nearly impossible to play without that confidence level. It's so key. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. You guys, if you would hit the like, I would appreciate that. We're 35 minutes in, and I haven't said this yet. If you don't know us, hit the sub button too. We're trying to reach some goals in the 35-ish, 40,000 range. We're growing. We're growing. We give you this 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week, depending on, heck, sometimes 7 days a week. If
so many times
that part of the season. So please join us. If you want to become a member, you get extra stuff. You get the rants, you get the stuff that I can't say on here because I try to keep it clean for the kids. You can have that in the member section. Join at the rookie level and send me an email at rgrpodcasts gmail.com. And I usually throw that up, but I'm a little slow
There
on the
it
draw
is.
today. It's like I've been up crying about that ball game or something. Oh, wait,
Almost
no.
a little bit.
That's just,
I mean,
no, that's just my personal life. It's fine.
that's what I got.
Let's see. If you will take this one, I'll set up the rest of our slide
All
here.
right. Thank you for the question, James. I think Sky is our best man beater. Yeah. And we need to see more of him. Do you guys agree? I think that they need to get him more involved, period. But to Ryan's point earlier, they are probably trying to hold him for later. And I disagree with the decision-making process there, especially in a game like Sunday where McCole Hardman was not at 100%. And he ran him out there for 60% of the snaps. And he was not getting targeted. And it was obvious he was feeling his heel. They didn't go back to him after the jet sweep, and because he couldn't stop. He literally tried to cut back, and he couldn't do it. At that point, get him off the field, get Sky Moore, Justin Watson on it, and let them do things. Otherwise,
Agreed. Spards, thank you for the support. Appreciate you, buddy. Good evening. Good to see you as well. It seems though the Chiefs understandably downplay the real relationship between Patrick and AB. Your thoughts? Yeah, I mean, and in the end of the day, everybody's a warrior out there, one way or another.
Yep.
Whether you're 63 years old or whether you're 25, like you're out there to win. Nobody comes to lose. And tempers get hot; they generally cool down after, and you end up rowing in the same direction. Not too worried about it.
Me either.
Thank you, Spards. And I do think they
Appreciate
are trying
you,
to keep it. I think they're trying to squash that a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
they're clearly when Andy has to reach out and be like, "Listen, let's not mess with EB right now." Because honestly, he's 4 foot nothing. He's gonna come up under your chin if you get him too much. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's a haymaker in there somewhere. Do you like what you see from Pacheco versus CEH? Why do you think he's only getting 3-4 carries? I mean, honestly, because he's not providing right now a big boost. And let's go back to the concept. Why were we disappointed in the CEH draft pick? Because running backs by themselves can't make enough difference. It is about the running game. The running game is about the offensive line. Mm-hmm. Without an offensive line, you don't have easy ways to make yards.
Also, go back to the goal line situation where he got a carry. He did not follow his blockers. And you want to know what would have happened? He follows blockers. They score a touchdown to win the game. He went off instead to the left where there is a linebacker meeting him directly in the hole, and he didn't see it. Follow his blockers. They score a touchdown. Problems in the vision area for Pacheco.
Now, for I don't know your name yet, but whatever intern in Chiefs organization is watching this right now, I'm going to say this very clear. This is not because I like Mike. He's a nice dude and we get along. There's only one person to run in goal line situations. His name is Mike Burton.
Yep.
Get it done. Let Colin lead the way. I'm so here for that. I mean, I can see Fridge Perry type moves. That's what I dream of at night. Mm-hmm. I need you guys to make me happy.
Love it.
HD Dreaming, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Micah, Peyton Manning would rarely let the Colts high ups decide the open the roof in Indy because of the lighting issues. Did the open roof affect Sky Moore and Kelsey drops? I have to think so.
I don't know if it impacted the drop. I think more of the Sky Moore muffed punt 100%, mm-hmm. and the second one too, because he lost that one in the ceiling. But I don't think it had anything to do with Kelsey's drop. I think Kelsey just missed it. By the way, ridiculous throw from Patrick Mahomes that doesn't just get overlooked. Like that's an accurate back shoulder throw where no one can get it except Kelsey. It's a ridiculous throw, and unfortunately, Travis Kelsey dropped it.
Well, and it looked like he came around to it late. So like if your target doesn't even know what's going there, it makes it more difficult to come up with the catch. Sean, if Orlando doesn't work out and step up his game as the season goes on, is the tag and trade in his future in the drafts and the team's draft for his replacement? I mean, it's a possibility for certain. Like if he doesn't step up quickly, I could even say them trying to swap tackles with someone this season before the deadline.
Yeah, they could try.
I think that would be more of a Veach move than a Reed move because Andy will want to keep their five together no matter what. They wouldn't want to make a midseason change like that. Certainly afterwards, a tag and trade is on the table. But again, Orlando can mess around and not sign it and force some things that isn't good for Kansas City. It comes back to the draft class. And like Dan was saying, if it's tackle, wide receiver, you got to have the tackles to take. And that's the question.
Okay, so interesting. I just got an update from Jeff Darlington. So if the game is moved from Tampa Bay, it would likely be a neutral site in the Midwest, such as Minneapolis. So there is
Oh.
hope that it could end up in Minnesota.
Everybody go see Seth. He'll be the guy down there in the silver and black tie.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about drafting somebody to replace Orlando Brown? Yes, please, twice. Maybe 3 times. Who knows? Any chance Ronald Jones gets some playtime anytime soon? I would have thought by now with the short yardage situation, they would have considered it. In kudos to Jerick McKinnon, they are giving him touches more so than I thought they would, and he's holding up so far. At some point, I think you have to bring in Jones and at least see what's going to happen.
I don't think they're going to. I think that they don't want to have another running back on the roster. That's just my opinion. But unless it starts to get worse, because I know that everyone hated that Clyde had 7 carries for 0 yards and a touchdown. There's nothing he could do about the large majority of the carries that he got. They did not set him up for success. And when they have set him up for success, he's been good. And I think they still think Pacheco can get there. So yeah, I think Ronald's just going to be if McKinnon gets hurt, guess what? That's what that's there for.
Hey, FLDB is going to be there too, you guys. He's been living in Minnesota for 11 years. I did not know that. Sorry,
that's
I missed
awesome.
You. But Britton had a good question. I haven't watched Marvin Mims at all. Have you? I didn't even catch the game against K-State. So
no,
I haven't seen him.
Mean, he's not a great, in my opinion, he's not a great receiver. He's basically McCole Hardman.
Well, there's your comp. I'll clue you guys in. I watch offensive tackles and edge rushers, corners and quarterbacks during the season. I don't watch anybody else. And honestly, I'm watching more this season than I ever have before because usually I don't do film until after the Chiefs are done, right? So I will try to get to it, but wide receivers, running backs, they're a little farther down my list. But if I get a chance, I do think I have some OU film that I need to go over. So, Britton, I will try to take a look for you.
And I mean, if you want, I did an actual write-up on Marvin Mims this offseason on NFL33.com. So you can go check that out.
Oh, that was beautiful segue that I totally forgot that was even up there, folks. Go become a member. We got some new stuff coming from you on NFL 33, and it is about the league and the draft and everything else. But I got some statistics that I think you guys are going to start to enjoy because I'm tracking edge rushers really early this year.
Let's go.
A lot of cool stuff coming there. We have audio, we have video, and we have the print. It's great. Become a member, support the whole effort at Substack. We appreciate you. Do you think, this is from HD Dreamin, who gave us a 20 before. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, HD.
Do you think that Orlando's weight loss had the opposite effect in his place? Is he salty over the franchise tag? I got a theory. You go ahead.
I swear, if he is letting his play be impacted by a contract negotiation, he should never play in the NFL again. I'm not joking about that. That's the kind of stuff that, one, you can mess around and get the face of the NFL hurt, and that will lose you money. So you're playing with your own money, and that should never be a way anybody ever approaches anything, especially when you think you deserve it, ever.
I think missing OTAs in training camp cost him.
They could.
I mean, what he missed, 3 days of training camp? It wasn't long.
It wasn't a ton, yeah.
But I think he needs to practice, folks. I think that's what it is. I'd also like to see Noah Green get some targets. He seems like he's taking a big step forward. He is. He's holding his own on the non-passing plays, so why not target him a little bit more? That one from Tommy on the fake, that doesn't count. Let's get him some real looks. Looks like their interior line is getting pushed back 4 or 5 yards a lot. Is this causing Mahomes to step up? I mean, I saw some where they got pushed around. Buckner on Trey, like he got him a couple times, but I don't see like the whole pocket getting pushed back very often. Maybe I'm just not noticing it.
Not a ton. I think it was more Mahomes having to step up, and then there's still some pressure there because even though they're not getting beat, you're still getting pushed back a little bit, which is the nature of playing offensive line, especially pass protection. So it looks that way because he's stepping up to avoid tackle pressure or defensive end pressure, and then kind of just spins off of that. At least that's what I think.
Thank you for the support, Flapjack.
Appreciate you, Flap.
I'm going to try to read this as a quote. So Matt Ryan doesn't know what was said. Chris Jones doesn't know what he said. What in the Frosted Flakes is going on?
I love that. That's great.
My favorite line in a while there, Flapjack. I don't know. I think Matt Ryan's being pretty cool about it because I mean, Chris was like in his ear hole at that point or very soon thereafter. So whatever whispering was going on, Matt's going to keep it under the. He's a vet. He's not going to give that stuff away.
He doesn't
I
care.
think that's stand up of him. Donnie, thank you. People are comparing this Mike McCarthy years and Aaron Rodgers since Mahomes is frustrated with the O. Do you think that's true or crazy? That's absolutely nuts.
He's talking about Eric Eager, comparing it to the Mike McCarthy era. So in a sense, I can understand where people can see that, and because especially in a game like this, or when you look at last week where the offense struggled a little bit as well, when you have things that don't go right, everything gets magnified. And Mike McCarthy is an objectively bad head coach. Andy Reid's not an objectively bad head coach. I think that there's a big difference and a disconnect between the way that people approach the way a disconnected game and game plan can look. Andy Reid has some deficiencies. I think we kind of understand that. All head coaches have deficiencies.
Yeah.
But he is not a decisively bad head coach. Mike McCarthy is. So, no, there's no real truth to it being like that. But if you look at it from an outside perspective, there are some similarities in the way that it ended in Green Bay because of this distraction that it became, the irritation around the offense, and Aaron Rodgers being more vocal about it. But as we know, Aaron Rodgers is a nutbag. Patrick Mahomes is not.
Well, I'll tell you this too. It became a personal thing, but with the two of them,
Yeah,
there's frustration over a game plan or what's going on or how the offense is developing. But there was a breakdown in personality conflict there. I don't see that at all. A little tantrum here and there. Yeah, I can understand why you'd make that connection, but I think it's silly to think that their relationship has gone in the toilet, like clearly happened in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Cole, do you think this loss will propel them over Tampa? I do. Is there a running back on this team to get 1 yard besides Mike Burton? Evidently not.
Hey, Clyde punched it in. I don't want to hear it.
Okay, fine. Do you see the Chiefs doing in the next 3 games? Bucks, Raiders, Bills. I think they're 2-1.
Yeah, I do. And that's what I'm going to predict is them being 2-1.
I think this is like hey, remember, you got to actually go win the games. You can't just show up because you have an arrowhead on your helmet. Yeah, I think the Bills are going to be tough. I think the Bills are in the same spot. They got slapped around too. I think it's going to be another brawl with the Bills, and it's going to be a tough one.
They got to come prepared for that one.
Yeah. Folks, we're going to speed up here because I got to be out at the top of the hour.
All right.
Do you think that Sky Moore will catch punts, especially in the next 3 games? I don't think so. I think they should relieve him of that duty.
No, he will be doing it.
You think so? Okay.
Why
doesn't Dave Riandy use McCall on special teams? Decision making.
He's hurt now.
Well, now he is, yeah. But I think they mean in general. Does anyone else think that they should shelf the RPOs for the foreseeable future? Not necessarily from under center, but yeah, I mean, yes, true play action.
Yeah, work it a little bit at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me Deuce Vaughn next year. I mean, 135 pounds, 5'6".
I like Deuce, but he is not stocked. If I'm taking a small running back, it's probably going to be Blake Corum out of Michigan. A guy who's probably a 4.5 runner. He's stocky, muscle hamster, really good vision, can catch the ball. So if I'm taking a smaller back, it's going to be him. I know Vaughn's got the speed, but Jerick McKinnon's got speed too, and look what's happened to him.
I'm going to warn you, there's a big back out on the West Coast that I think is going to break 4.45. And he runs like a ton of bricks. He's 220 pounds. Zach Charbonnet would look great in this offense.
See, I think Zach Charbonnet is fool's gold.
You do?
I believe he is. I've watched him for years in Michigan before he transferred. He's the same back to me that he was at Michigan. I think he's fool's gold, but we'll see.
Okay. I like that. We disagree on something. That's awesome.
Often.
Would you sign Deshaun Jackson and put him in the punt return? Nah, ancient.
I would just bring back Coleman. Just have Coleman do it.
Yeah, right. I really don't care as long as you catch the ball and you don't bring it out 10 yards deep in the end zone.
Please.
I'm just saying. Bill's got the same stuff. That's awesome.
That's right. It's a great cup.
We dealt with that one.
Appreciate you, William.
Okay, we got that one. Chris. Defense will be even better when Gay and McDuffie are back. Yeah, we absolutely agree with you.
You're right, Chris.
And thank you for the support. Info, did Harris play himself into sticking around on the roster even after Gay returns?
He was already on the roster.
Yeah, but they have 6 linebackers on the active right now. They're going to have to downgrade somebody.
Oh yeah, he's going to stick around. I can tell you that
Yeah,
much.
I think so too. It's Cochran or Lee or both, in my
Mhm.
opinion. We'll go
Yeah.
back down. Yeah, Rob, I like the wake up call idea. If Bucker were
Mhm.
played, it'd be a different conversation. Yes, it'd be a win.
100%.
It would still, we'd still be like, hey, they screwed this up and they look kind of silly doing it, but
Honestly,
they got the
I
dub
think
yet.
I think they may have needed to lose, not win
Maybe.
another game like that.
That sounds like an Andy team every year, doesn't it? Remember when we have a lot of rookies that will make mistakes and knew at the beginning of the year they will be fine. Doug, I like your attitude and I like your
Yeah,
rosiness.
love it.
Cheers for that. Thanks for bringing that. And if you guys would listen to Doug and hit that thumbs up, right? All right. So talk me off the ledge. Okay, Harlan, I'll give it a shot. In 3 games, I feel like our offensive line has regressed. Pass rush is still very much non-existent. And outside of Kelsey, Patrick trusts no one. I can't really argue with you.
I was about to say 2 of those points are pretty accurate. I think that the pass rush pressuring is getting better than it was last year. They still aren't getting home, but
Right.
you're onto something there. But I think that it's week 3. There shouldn't be a ledge in view yet. Like the ledge should be if this is still a problem in like 10 weeks. Then you got some things to talk about.
Harlan, your concerns are legit. I don't
Yeah.
think anything's fatal yet. So I think they're going to be fine. They got to put it together, and I think there might be more bumps in the road this year than normal.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think they're going to live. But let's see. Avery's always on top of this stuff.
Yep.
Avery says RB5. Zach Evans would be awesome. Okay.
I worry about Zach Evans'
It's a running back. Take him in the 6th. Throw him away when you're done.
yeah. No, just his mental thing.
Oh, okay. I don't know the
Mental
backstory
stuff.
there. That sounds interesting. Let's see. Avery, red zone. We didn't finish enough drives in the end zone. Also, I missed Buster. I think you're absolutely right, Avery.
Yeah. Again, I said it on Twitter. They had a 1st and goal from the 3.5-yard line, and they kicked the field goal. That's a mentality. It's an offensive line that can't move people.
And you just don't, and Andy doesn't have the confidence in them to do that.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. Are we saving Rojo for Tampa? I think a revenge game's a good motivation, so I'm here for it if they are.
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
Alex, I'd love to see Alex Smith come back and coach Mahomes. Would be a dream come true. I think it would actually be helpful.
I agree.
You know, like a little more like recent vision of the game rather than from the coaching staff. Adam, good day from Sydney. Good day to you. Hope you're doing well. Great show. Thank you, sir. Can't wait for the week. Both my rugby league men's and women's teams are in the final, and Patrick against them. That's awesome. Yeah,
Nice.
That's a nice trifecta, Adam.
That's awesome, Adam.
Glad to know that you're here. I think you're like 14 hours ahead of me. So cheers. Have one for me. If you get Garage Project, find their beers. I'm just saying. Best coaches lead to more wins. Andy will figure it out. In the end, the law averages does work out that way.
Yeah.
Good coaches get wins. John, do we expect the coverage miscues from Harris to get better with more reps? Do y'all think Leo would be worse in coverage? Yes and yes, in my opinion.
I agree, both. And he did get better throughout the game, so that was always a plus.
Yeah, and if you guys missed that last night, go back and watch the breakdown. That I still have the background up for this because I just like I like the titling, and I haven't done one for the Q&A yet. I should actually change that. I have the basic one for the Q&A now. It's
too late now. It's 7:00.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, we're almost done. It's fine. It's all good. But yeah, like he improved during the game, and Leo I think did well playing forward in the few snaps he got. I haven't seen the counts yet.
Yeah, I haven't looked at them. I know they're out, but I haven't seen them.
Ready Whip likes the way Jones runs. I'm with you. How about the Frank Clark stack? I couldn't believe my eyes when he destroyed his block. He got a 15-yard sack.
Dude, he was all in that backfield.
And that was multi-rush. Like there wasn't a clear escape path, and that helped Frank as well. Like that's what you get when 4 guys can actually push the pocket or attack.
And it was an inside move from Frank, something we don't normally see.
Right? Thoughts on the DL? Okay, we were just talking about that. I like that. I thought we got good push from Nadi. I thought Colin Saunders had best game I've seen in a year.
Yeah, he might have been the second best player on defense in that game. Like he was awesome.
CFB receiver to watch, Charlie Jones, 41 reception, 533, 7 TDs. Thanks, Papa. I don't get much. That's not Canadian football. That's college football, right? Okay. Then I should be paying attention to that more.
I have not heard of Charlie Jones, so we'll look him up.
Okay, we will do that. Ready Whip, fake field goal, 4th and 10, and laughing.
I just can't, man.
I mean, again, set yourself up for success. If you're gonna do it, run it from the other hash, Run it to the right-hand side so Tommy can just pivot and get the ball out.
Yeah,
Run your play with a chance for success. Oh, evidently you sound a little like Kermit tonight, Dan. Everybody feels bad for you.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying.
Spaz, we answered that one. Why does Spencer? Because the offensive line was getting caught off guard over and over and over.
Yeah.
Things that they can deal with had they practiced against it. I'm just going to put it that way.
I agree with you there.
Lamar's been playing well. Got to give him credit for getting out of the hate. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's see. What do we have left? We got Papa's. Did we get Brett's?
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys.
Okay, we answered that one. All right, then we are caught up. It is top of the hour. We're going to call it a night. Thank you, you guys. We appreciate you and all the support tonight, all the new members. I will get you set up. Doug had one more question. Malgoris, Mal has one too. Just jumped in. I still think 12-5. Dan, are you downgrading them?
No, I'm still at 12-5 as well. That was what my preseason prediction was. That's what I'm gonna stick with still.
Okay. All right, Dan, since our trap game was the Colts, do you think that Miami is a trap game versus Cincinnati? I think they probably have their attention, or at least they should.
They should. It's Joe Burrow. They were in the Super Bowl last year. I don't think that's a trap game.
Hey, everybody, give FLW a hand.
Appreciate
for
you
being our guy tonight in the mods. We appreciate you. Have a great night. Tomorrow, we have all the stuff coming for you. You're going to have the videos. You're going to have the stat breakdown from Gary. We're going to get into the film as we get the All-22. You'll see that more that week. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate you. Have a good Tuesday. We'll talk to you then.